Yes, hello friends, welcome to BISP Solutions. Myself Ashwin, and today we are going to see one new topic. Let me enhance it. Okay, yeah, today we are going to see first of all, let me introduce BISP. BISP is a tech company and provide technological solutions across the world. Now this is our day 12, and in this session we are going to see understanding key NetSuite modules. Now see why I am explaining you all these things, because see, so far in our 11-day journey we have seen that how to prepare the documents, how to what type of different BAs are there, right? So now we are going to see the modules of NetSuite, and we will also discuss that what are the roles of business analyst in these modules. For example, if a NetSuite is to be implemented in a company business, right? So what will be the role of business analyst, right? So we are going to see today three modules, that is O2C, P2P, R2R. O2C means order to cash, P2P means purchase to procure, and R2R means record to report. This is something related to accounts and financing. Okay, so understand these cycles helps business analyst design and validate workflows, right? So when you will work as a business analyst, right, so it is mandatory for you to understand exactly what are these business processes, right? Until you know the business process, you can't implement NetSuite, because here we have to implement, we have to fit the NetSuite into the client's business, right? That is what we need to do. So for this purpose, what we are going to do here, we are going to understand first of all, a business analyst must understand the process of the business. Then only the business analyst can suggest the solution for them. Okay, so let's start. Here, this is our, what is O2C? Okay, first of all we will see O2C. Now O2C means actually it's a order to cash, right? So O2C means order to cash. Now order to cash means the complete cycle that starts with creation of sales order, then it goes up to item fulfillment, then pick, pack, ship, then invoice, and then accept the payment, and then close the sales order, right? This is what the complete procedure goes on. Now here CRM, now this CRM means exactly why it is written here. Now CRM is written here because the customer, the creation of the customer, the making of a customer, how a lead becomes customer, so that complete cycle is called as CRM, customer relationship module, right? Customer relationship management. So that is called CRM. Okay, so now in this CRM I am giving you the complete knowledge of CRM. First of all, the lead is generated from different various sources. Then on that lead some activities are done. For example, I receive a name Mr. Peter from somewhere. Now I will continue talking with him, I will continuously have a meeting with him to show, right, to show our product, exactly what we are going to sell. And when that lead shows a little interest in our product, so now our main the lead that become opportunity, right? So opportunity, so after a round of so many meetings, that opportunity finally the person agreed to buy the product. Now in this way that person becomes our customer, and while creation of sales order, that customer is the key person, right? Because sales order, we are generating a sales order against whom? Definitely it will be a customer, and in the technical language it is called as entity. Okay, so we are not going in that, customer is fine. Okay, so sales order management. So first of all, these are the modules which are involved in O2C complete cycle, right? Now O2C sales order is a transaction record, and there are so many metadata records also there, like customer record, it's a metadata, it's a master record. Similarly, when we create a sales order, right, now I am talking about this. First of all, we have seen, first of all, what is O2C? So O2C means, I have explained you, CRM means the procedure of creation of complete customer, right? Customer is not something like I have written some name in the customer, because the customer, how that person becomes your customer. So that is the complete cycle. After that, sales order management, right? So this is the our main target to understand. Inventory. Now inventory means what? It's also a master data. For example, a furniture selling company that sells like sofa, the bed sheet cover, the bed sheet, and bed, and some tables, the chairs, everything, right, related to furniture. So now, so if a company is having 250 types of item or 1000 types of items, so definitely you have to ask them, okay, give us the inventory, and then we will load that first, then only sales order can be created. Without these items you can't create the sales orders. Okay, after, see, inventory and the CRM, these and the customer data, actually it's a customer data, this. So inventory and customer data are the master records. And now invoicing means that sales order, one more record is created in the invoice table. Okay, then payment collection is another record, right? Payment collection means we are collecting the, so in one master data, definitely the credit card related details or the cash related bank account details, everything is stored in a record in the customer data itself. So that data is pulled here when at the time of accepting the payment. Okay, then accounts receivable. Accounts receivable, these are the accounts which are created in chart of accounts, right? So these are the process. Now if you see here, typical O2C flow. Now what is this typical O2C flow? So just now I have explained you that complete process. So lead becomes opportunity. First of all, leads means all those random names that we extracted from certain sources, right? So these are the leads. Then we convert them into opportunity, and after that they become customer. Then second point, quote and sales order. When a client or the customer invites the quote means our details of the items, right? Which item is to be sold in which, what price, right? First quote is created, and then the sales order, you can call it as quotation also. Then item fulfillment. Once the sales order is created, so the item fulfillment is there. Item fulfillment means we are just, for example, I have prepared a sales order, created a sales order for dining table. Now in the dining table, what will happen? Definitely one sales order is generated. Now item fulfillment means what? Just our one person will go to the inventory, pick that table and keep it outside the inventory, or we can say the warehouse. And the packers, right, the packers, they will pack that table. This is called packing. Whatever we have done, that is picking. Now the packers will pack that table, and the table will be sent to the container, shipping yard container, right? The table will be stored there, will be arranged in that container along with the complete address of the recipient, right? So this is called item fulfillment. Once the ship starts our journey, now the invoice is generated and it is sent to the customer, right? So invoice, we come at this part, invoice is generated, right? Then after that, customer payment is done. Customer payment is done, and then revenue recognition. Revenue recognition is also, it's a module in that we decide that exactly from which time the revenue is to be recognized, right? For example, I am giving you a very short example of this revenue recognition. I am giving you the service of car wash, right? 1000 or we can say 1200, right? So now I'm giving you the facility of car wash, and that is 1200. Now suppose if the customer comes to me, right, and he says that okay, I am taking your service for the whole year subscription, how much will you take? So normally 1200 multiplied by 12, so that will be 14400, right? And suppose if I say okay, for the whole year subscription I will charge only 1000, so 12,000. So he says that okay, 12,000. Now 12,000 I receive, but for the first month only 1000 will be recognized as a revenue recognition, right? And that 11,000 will be deferred income, right? So right now this is sufficient to understand the revenue recognition is another accounting part. So for that, business analyst will sit with the accountants and he will work on this, right? So the basic thing that a business analyst, because business analyst may or may not be from accounts background, right? So he has to understand exactly the process. We are we're talking about the process, right? Not about the complete depth accounting in depth. Okay, so now let's talk about this. So customer payment and then the revenue recognition. Now the question arises, what is the role of BA in OTC? OTC means order to cash. Okay, so now let's discuss this. Now see, gather sales process requirements. First of all, see, sales order to invoice process, every company having the same procedure but with a small variation, right? For example, if one company is selling the items but they are not maintaining how much the weight is there in the dimension, so weight and dimension, but in furniture selling company they maintain that okay, this is how the weight of the item, this is how the width of the item, and this is how the length of the item, because they are selling the items in a container, right? They are sending the items in the container, so they have to there is a limit of a container. And while company A is selling toys, let me explain you with a better example, just a second. Here, like for example, company A selling toys, soft toys, and company B selling heavy furnitures. So definitely this selling toys, it's a soft toy, so this company will not focus only on weight, right, while shipping the items, but this company will focus on height, weight, width, length. Okay, so this is the difference. So order to cash is almost the same in every company, but with a slight variation. Someone manage the weight also, someone manage only height, width, right? So now BA role in OTC is gather sales process requirement. Okay, gather sales process requirements, how your complete sales process takes place. The business analyst will simply go to the SME or the stakeholder and then he will just take the information. Define approval flow for sales order. Now again, when your company is very big, so definitely there is a series of approval process. So the business analyst has to gather the information for that also. Then map payment methods. Map payment method. Now payment method means cash on delivery, advance payment or partial payment, what type of payment your customer does, right? So the business analyst will capture that information also, and then validate pricing logic, discounts, tax rules. Then validate what type of tax rules are there, because suppose a company is having like a subsidiary different companies, In that case, in different countries, in that case there are some rules. Or let's take an example in our country like India. There are different states, and in every states the tax rule is little different. So tax rule, or we can say the price, cost price, right, selling price, they may vary, right, because it's not possible that the same price will be applicable in another state also. So this is how the validating pricing logics, what type of pricing we have to apply on that particular subsidiary, to that particular city, to that particular customer. Create test scenario for order processing. Now once you take all the information, then you have to create a test case scenario also. For example, our item is here, and then immediately when the customer is asking for delivery, so in that case how we will have to dispatch. Okay, now this is all the business analyst role. So everything depends on this business analyst, right? So business analyst will work on all these things. So guys, this is all about the O2C, right, order to cash. First of all, the customers are created, then the sales order is created, then inventory fulfillment, then once it is shipped, automatically inventory will be deducted, then the invoicing, then the payment collection, then accounts receivable, accounts will be updated. Similarly, you can see here item fulfillment, invoice generation, customer payment, revenue recognition, right? And what is the role of the BA, right? So what is the role of the BA? The BA role is just to take the information. Now suppose if the BA, business analyst, collected all the information, now what the business analyst will do, business analyst will just sit with the functional team, also with the accounts team, and then finally the business analyst will draw the flow chart and how the process will take place, and then hand over it to technical team. If there is any requirement of creating a new form, then the technical team will work on it. Okay, so this is how the complete order to cash process takes place. Okay, now let's talk about purchase to procure. Now let me explain you the purchase to procure, how this purchase to procure works in NetSuite. Now purchase to procure means, first of all, the story, the picture begins with the requisition. Okay, the complete picture begins with the requisition. Now first of all, the requisition, purchase requisition is created. Okay, then just a second, then the purchase requisition, then that requisition will is converted into purchase order. Okay, after that item receipt. Now item receipt means the item is received, because purchase order means is used where, for example, I am running a company or a factory, or we can say the furniture selling company. Now I take everything raw material from a vendor, and that vendor is sending me the items, right? Now whatever the raw material I purchase, so first of all the purchase requisition is created, purchase order is converted into purchase order, then item receipt. Item receipt means the vendor is sending me the items, that is called item receipt activity. Then a vendor bill is generated. After that, payment process, and then accounts payables. Okay, that is called bill payment. Okay, so this is all about the NetSuite purchase to procure. And same thing is here in typical P2P flow. Let me show you. Purchase request is optional. Here you can see the purchase request is optional. Normally there is a process of purchase request, means anyone can raise a request. For example, let's take an office example. In an office, suppose 5 candidates, they need mouse, they can raise a requisition. Okay, they can raise a requisition. It may be fulfilled, it might not be fulfilled, that is another thing. but first of all the purchase request is raised, then that purchase request is converted into purchase order. Okay, that purchase request is converted into purchase order. Now when we will send that purchase order to the vendor, so definitely he will send us the items, so that thing is called item receipt. Fourth point is vendor bill. Vendor bill, that is the AP invoice, accounts payables. Okay, so vendor bill, there is a facility of vendor bill, so we have to fill that vendor bill, and that vendor bill will be sent to the vendor. Okay, and then the bill payment, we are going to do the bill payment. You can see here AP invoice, accounts payable. Payable means we have to pay. Okay, so that is called vendor bill, AP invoice. Okay, now this is the complete process. Now let's see exactly how this what will be the role of BA in P2P process. Now see, in P2P process, let me tell you something more about the NetSuite. Now in this NetSuite also, see, purchase to procure, there is a module given in NetSuite. In sandbox, if you open the sandbox of that NetSuite, you will find that complete standard procedure of purchase to procure. Now again here there is one thing hidden here, workflow. Now purchase to procure contains approval routing also. Same, I have explained you just few minutes back in the sales order, that approval routing. Similarly here also approval routing is required. For example, again the same question, same thing I am iterating, that is, suppose if the items are items to purchase are more than like $10,000, so purchase officer will, or purchase supervisor will approve it, and if it is beyond 50,000, then purchase of officer, or we can say the purchase manager or the CEO, anyone who will approve it. So here also the role of the BA, understand who raises POs and who approves. This is what I was telling you, who raises the bill and who approves. Approves means approval routing. Okay, okay, so here we are talking about approval routing. Okay, so first of all, business analyst has to understand that exactly who will create, who raise the PO, and who will approve it. Finally, who will be the responsible person. So all that the business analyst needs to understand the complete process, who raises the PO and who approves the PO. I am sitting with a CEO and I will ask them, okay, how many types of approvals are there, who creates the say purchase order, and then who makes that purchase requisition to purchase order, and then who approves the purchase order. If is there any limit, or is there any condition to approve the purchase order, or is there any range, from this range to that range only this person will approve, or from that range to another range any other person will approve. Is there anything something like this? So BA has to think continuously and ask and raise the questions. No doubt there might be some repetitive questions also, but BA's role is to ask each and everything, because once the things will be prepared, then you can't do modification further. Okay, so understand who raises POs and who approves it. Then check two-way, three-way match requirement. Yeah, whatever is item is purchased, right, whatever items written in the purchase order, exactly the same should be visible at the time of delivery. Suppose I have purchased some toy or anything, cooler or anything, electric appliances, anything. So does that same requirement matches with the invoice, so that we are checking, right, with the vendor bill and with the help of purchase order. Okay, then check two-way, three-way match requirement. Okay, match requirement means whatever we wanted, exactly what we demanded and exactly what they have sent us to, right? Then capture workflows, PO, receipt, bill approval. Now this capture workflows written here, it is not necessary that you have to create workflow anyhow. Here it is written capture the workflow. That means first see the exactly how their workflow is working, right? How their workflow is working, and then define the vendor onboarding process. Okay, so this is all about the task of the vendor, business analyst while working with NetSuite project. Here right now I am just showing you three modules: order to cash, purchase to procure, and these three modules every business analyst should know. Okay, so order to cash, purchase to procure, these are the two very big modules, and every business analyst must have the details of these modules. Okay, so after that, suppose we have learned now order to cash, purchase to procure. That means until you have the complete knowledge of order to cash, purchase to procure, then how will you entertain the client, and how will you capture the requirement, and how will you, suppose if you capture the requirement, then you have to convince the client that okay, this is what we have done and this is how we are going to do in future, right? So you have to explain, I have to understand. Here you will see purchase order, right? You have to understand exactly the purchase orders behavior, how their process works. Then you have to see who generates who raises the PO and who approves it. Then you have to see check the requirements also, then capture the workflow. Now capture the workflow means not here in the sense of creating workflow. Capture the workflow means examine them, and or we can say observe them in depth and see what type of workflow they are using. Okay, so in this way your business analyst role is defined in purchase to procure. Just a second, just give me a second. Okay, now our two modules are completed. Now let's see exactly how this record to report. Now record to report means, now this record to report means, now this module is used for the finance and accounting processes, from recording transactions to reporting financial results. Okay, just give me a second, I will be back. Just give me a second. Yes, I am back. Okay, now let's talk about record to report. This record to report means capturing the data from record, or we can say first record the transaction and then show it into the reports. For example, whenever your sales orders are created, whenever your sales order the invoice is created, and whenever the approval is taken, so it is defined in the balance sheet also. It shows few records are defined in balance sheet also, and the general entries also. All these things are shown there also. That is why this module is called record to report. Now record to report, what is this record to report and how it is used in corporate? See, while working on a project, there are few people who generates the report only. Okay, while working on project, there are few people, there is one consultant who will only generate the reports. He is having good command over finance, accounts, and also the NetSuite. So NetSuite involves, these are the modules. As you can see here, these modules are involved in NetSuite. First talk about general ledger. Okay, now general ledger means it's a ledger entry, it's journal entry, right? General ledger. So whenever we create any type of transaction, immediately a journal entry is created and that entry is displayed in this general ledger. Okay, then bank reconciliation. Bank reconciliation is done by accountants. So the business analyst will sit with the accountant and he conducts the complete process. Okay, then you will see the fixed assets. Fixed assets means, suppose how much items, what will be the costing of any particular item in today. For example, I have purchased a tractor, right, a vehicle 2 years back. At that time the price of that vehicle is like 5 lakh rupees, Indian rupees. Now definitely for the last 2 years I have been using that tractor for farming purpose. So definitely due to wearing and tearing process, the pricing gets reduced. And suppose if there is some changes, or we can say the requirements are there, that changing the oil and all these things, that is called impairment. And the third level is, suppose if the technology gets outdated and in the market that a new technology tractor is available. Now in that case, what will be the reselling price? That means, again I am showing you the scenario exactly. I purchased a tractor 2 years back in 5 lakh rupees. Let's take this. Yeah, I purchased the tractor for 5 lakh rupees 2 years back. Now what will be the cost of today's scenario? Definitely less than 5 lakh rupees, right? And suppose if there is any repairing in the tractor, so it will reduced by 4,50,000, right? And suppose if the technology is outdated, in that case it becomes less than 3 lakh Indian rupees. So this complete process that is covered under fixed assets management. Okay, and definitely whatever the pricing is there, so that pricing is included in the reporting part. So all this reporting part is done by the accountants, right? Business analyst only needs to understand exactly what is going on, from where, how the data is traveling and how it is done, right? Now you can see a trial balance, profit and loss, and balance sheet. These are also the reports which are by default given by the NetSuite. Okay, see, there are 2-3 types of reporting techniques in NetSuite. One is the standard reporting. Now these general ledger, journal entries, bank reconciliation, fixed assets, all these are having the fixed format, right? And every accountant wants to see this in the same format. So the reports which are same for everyone, so that is what they are called standard reports, and they are in the fixed format. They will not be changed. And one more type of reporting technique is there given by NetSuite, that is saved search. Saved search can be different from different people. For example, balance sheet pro forma, or we can say balance sheet pattern, or we can say the balance sheet format, right? So balance sheet format is fixed for every consultant and for every accountant. Everyone wants to see that in the same format. So balance sheet is same. But if I ask my subordinate, show me the sales order done within the last 2 months, how much sale is done within the last 2 months, show me all the list of sales orders. This is a customized report, right? So in that case, these are the customized, so they may be different from different people. That is why there are two types of reporting techniques given in NetSuite. Then financial reporting, the dashboards, all these things are given in NetSuite. Okay, now the question arises, what is the role of BA? Now see here, typical R2R. First of all, before that we will see typical R2R flow. Sub-ledger transaction, right? As soon as sales order, purchase order, bills, payments are done, right, then automatically journal entries are created in the background. For example, if I create a sales order, until it is approved, item is not sold, so there will be no impact in GL, right? There will be no it will be a non-posting ledger, right? Non-posting entry. Then once it is approved and once the invoice is created, then you will see there is a yes in that will be posted, so the impact will be visible in GL entry. Okay, so journal entry and adjustment, these two are different. One is general entry. General entry means once, as soon as the invoice is created, one journal entry is created in the background. Adjustment is done when you have to do some adjustment. For example, like suppose let's take a very small example. If a person for the whole day he purchase, if a person with his wife has gone to shopping, and for at the end of the day, so they are having like 4,000 rupees in his pocket, so they will see exactly where it is sent, right? And if something they could not make it out, like something is missing in that calculation, so what they will do, they will put like 50 rupees in miscellaneous. So that is called the adjustment. They will do that adjustment, and now finally the balance is adjusted. Same thing is here. Journal entries are done, but for some adjustment purpose, some journal entries are also, reverse journal entries are also created, right? So that is the part of accounting in depth, right? So business analyst don't need to do lots of work on this, because the business analyst task is to understand the process and complete the process within the given time. Then you will see here the month end close, the bank reconciliation, finance reporting, right, audit and compliance. So all these things are done by accountants, but the business analyst understands that exactly what. So what is the BA's role in R2R? So gathering, reporting and compliance requirement, this is what the BA do. Okay, confirm charts of account structure, yes, how many types of accounts are there, define period close activities, okay, and then align tax filing needs with reports, okay, and then support creation of saved search. Look at this, just now I have told you about the saved search. Saved search means it's a customized report. And then financial dashboards, right? You can create the dashboard also. Okay, so this is all about the process. Okay, just a second, again one, yeah. So order to cash is a different thing, purchase to procure is a different thing, and then you will see here the role of BA in R2R is gathering report information, confirm charts of account structure, and then define period close activities, then align statutory tax filing needs with reports, okay, then support creation of saved search and financial dashboard, right? So financial dashboard will also be created. Okay, so this is how the business analyst understand all, right? Now let's talk about understanding key NetSuite modules. Okay, so here you will see O2C, we are doing a little comparison. Okay, process are these three, key focus. Now customer orders, look at this, customer orders, and where it is. First of all, key focus is on customer orders, then modules involved sales, fulfillment, AR, and goal is revenue, final goal is revenue. Then you will see here the P2P. In this, vendor purchases, see, order to cash means we are selling items to the customer, so it is completely dependent on the customers. Purchase, P2P means we are selling, we are purchasing the items from the vendors. So P2, PO, receipt, AP, cost control, everything. The modules involved is PO, receipt, and AP, and then the cost control. Then R2R, if you talk about record to report, record to report is nothing, just inserting the transactions and then showing it into the reporting, and the BA must know that exactly what transactions will be visible at what point of time. For example, if I am saying I have seen that order to cash process, as soon as the invoice is created, then the GL impact will show posting, yes, otherwise it will be non-posting entry. So as soon as the invoice is created, then only it will show posting entry. Okay, so R2R is related to financial reporting, GL, JE reports, and compliances and insight. Their main target is to extract the details. Now next is under summary. Now let's see, or O2C, or sales to cash flow. Okay, that means whatever we are selling, definitely it will impact on cash flow, it will impact on balance sheet, it will impact on profit and loss report, P&L. P2P, purchase to vendor payment. Okay, so whatever we are purchasing, it will be reflected in the vendor payment bill also, and also it will be impact in our reports. R2R means transactions to financial reporting, right? Transactions to financial reporting. R2R means record to report, that means whatever filled in your records, that should be extracted in the reports. Now many times what happens, see, the reporting, many times there is a argument that why your reporting is taking time, too much time. Now the thing is that when we demand so many information in the report, so definitely the back-end engine has to extract the record from different tables based on the condition, so that is why it takes time. Okay, so normally reporting is a easy task, but when the requirements comes very complex, then the reporting person, he has to make some modification in his query and then extracts. And when the engine is pulling the data from 10 to 20 tables, this is very small, 10 to 20, in some cases 1000 tables. Now in that case what will happen, it will take definitely a little time. Okay, now so here you will see BA must understand flows, approvals, pain points, reporting needs for each. So basically the business analyst just explain exactly what they want and what we are going to do and how we are going to do it. That's it. Okay, and second is NetSuite integrates these seamlessly in one system. Yeah, definitely NetSuite is having the capability to integrate everything very easily, right? All you need to know just know the method, and also the clear-cut requirement list from the client also. And here you will see NetSuite integrates these seamlessly in one system. Okay, now so guys, today we have seen the order to cash process, O2C. Then in this let's have a quick recap. O2C means order creation to invoice generation, right? Order creation to invoice generate, and everything is given in this module itself. Secondly, we have seen the purchase to procure. In this purchase to procure, what happens when we are purchasing something from the vendor? So that vendor sends the item, and if does not send, we return the item also from the vendor. So that is why purchase to procure is completely a different scenario, right? Then what will be the BA role in P2P? Understand the process, who raise the PO, who approves it. Mainly approval process is there in NetSuite. Okay, so the business analyst will see exactly what needs to be done. Okay, then we see the record to report. Record to report means the process is going on, and then you have to just extract the data and understand and how to extract the data and how you will represent the data in the format of reporting. Okay, then what are these modules involved? General ledger, journal entry, the bank reconciliation, the fixed assets, all these things are involved in this R2R module. Okay, after that, what will be the BA role in this? Again, the BA role is same: gather information and then collect the information of that all the related reports like chart of accounts, then define period close activity, and then align statutory tax filing needs with reports, and then support creation of saved search. Also, the business analyst does all these tasks. Okay, so today we have seen how the business analyst do the process. Now in tomorrow's session we will see real project demo mapping requirements to NetSuite screen. That is most important. Okay, so guys, I suggest you to watch this video once more and then try to understand exactly what I have explained, and then if something is not clear to you, anything is not clear to you, in that case you can put the comment in the comment box. I will be happy to resolve the doubts. Okay, and those who have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel so that you will get the notification of the new upcoming videos and webinars, right? Okay guys, so today we are closing here only, and subscribe the channel. Thank you guys, thank you, thanks for attending the webinar.